Hey everybody, and welcome to this very special episode of Yard Talk 101, brought to you by Coach. I am Jahliel Thurman, CEO and founder of Yard Talk 101. Now, one of the main reasons I created Yard Talk 101 was to bridge the gap between college students and major corporations. And so I am extremely excited about today's conversation. Today's episode features HBCU alumni who bring their unique backgrounds to the community at Tapestry, a company that aims to build an inclusive environment where people from all backgrounds, perspectives, and experiences can grow and thrive. We'll be diving into the subject of professional life after HBCUs, covering topics such as internships and career opportunities, work-life balance, and workplace diversity and environment for minorities here within the Tapestry family of brands, including Coach, Kate Spade, and Stuart Weitzman. Ooh, I can't wait. Ooh, okay. Joining me today, though, I had to bring out some bisons, all right? I have a group of Howard University alumni, all right, starting with manager of Coach Financial Planning and Analysis, Jolanda Carey, Senior Director of HR Business Partner here at Tapestry, Asa Gerald, and Manager Counsel at Tapestry, Eric Chavis. All right, now before we dive really deep into the conversation, I would like for you all to briefly elaborate just on some of the roles and responsibilities that you all have. Jolanda, we'll start with you.
Sure. So like you mentioned, I do the financial planning and analysis. So I basically do all the global sales forecasting for Coach on a weekly, quarterly, and yearly basis. And then I report this information to our senior director and our CFO. And talk about any risks that we may have with reaching our sales goals or any opportunities or outperformances in the different regions. And then I also do the forecasting for our licensing and our collaborations, so like our Disney collab and our Basquiat collab. So all of that forecasting, and yeah, that sums it up pretty much.
It sounds like you got a lot on the plate, and you're doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
Asa, what about you?
Okay, so as a human resources business partner, I help align our people strategy to our business goal with our business leaders within Tapestry, Coach, Kate, Stuart, Weitzman across the company. I'm here as a resource for every single employee, starting from our entry level all the way up into our XCOM level and leaders.
Okay. So you keep everybody connected.
Yes.
I got you.
Yes.
Now, Eric, everybody needs the legal side of things. Can you dive a little bit more about what you do?
Absolutely. So I sit on the contracts legal team. Okay. I focus on marketing and advertising contracts. So across brands, when we have activations, I'm papering those deals, also engaging. When we engage talent and influencers, I'm drafting and negotiating those contracts. I actually drafted your contract, Jahliel. And I also, in addition, I am the director of our externship program. We have a year-round legal externship program, and I'm helping to lead the legal department's newly launched diversity program.
Got you. And that's important. You know, the legal side of things, you don't really learn about it until you get older, but that's probably the most important side. No contracts haven't been signed. That's all that has to be aligned. So definitely, we appreciate all of you all in the positions that you're in. Now, first and foremost, I want to say, I want to commend you all, to have success that you've had. Navigating this beast that we call corporate America can be quite challenging. Now, Jolanda, for you, how have you been able to navigate and have success here at the Coach brand?
I think the biggest thing that's helped me navigate and have success was building and maintaining a good reputation at the company through like a good work ethic and just being kind and open-minded with different team members. And I think through that, I was also able to build good relationships. And I think that's really important in corporate America, especially at Coach. Whether you're asking for a deliverable or something that you need to do, I think having those good relationships with people so you can get things done in a timely fashion is always good. And prior to joining the Coach team, I was on the Tapestry team.
Okay.
And so in my role at Tapestry, I worked with the finance teams for all 3 brands. So I think I was able to build good relationships with each of the brands, and I think that really helped me get my new role at Coach in the financial planning world. So yeah, I think success really comes from good relationships.
And I love that you said that, right? I'm a firm believer that you have to deposit before you can make withdrawals, right? A lot of times you can't go to the bank and make a withdrawal, right? Unless you put some money in the bank. And it's the same thing with relationships. You have to be able to deposit into people. And then at that point, you can then make that withdrawal that you need to continue to further your success.
Right.
Right. So I commend you for understanding the art of relationship building, because that's a key. Now, Asa, this life after college thing, it's a gray area, right? I don't think people really understand how gray it can be. Even for someone like myself, being a mass comm major, not really knowing where life would be, I had to kind of create my own lane, which thus is how we're here today. You've had your own success, coming from Howard and your own experiences, and then here at Tapestry. How is Tapestry really opening up this HBCU pipeline for students and furthering diversity within the Tapestry community?
Yeah, I think that's a really, really fascinating topic where, as a company, Tapestry holistically, with all of our brands being Coach, Kate Spade, and Stuart Weitzman, we're really working with every single leader to ensure that we're wanting to make sure that we're reaching out to a diverse population, that we have a diverse populations of applicants, that our whole atmosphere here in Tapestry, our workforce, is as diverse as possible. Specifically when we're talking about collaborations with HBCUs or bringing in HBCU students. Several years ago, as part of Black History Month, we actually worked with 7 of the HBCUs to actually work on and activated a talent fair to actually bring in students from the HBCU specifically for our summer internship program. Now, our summer internship program is open for all students and all applicants to apply, but specifically in working also working with the Thurgood Marshall College Fund, working with other specific organizations within the BIPOC community, and more specifically within the Black community, we are really, really working on trying to make sure that we have diversity represented, and we want our HBCU students to come to Tapestry. Look at the 3 of us here today. There's more of us here in the company that are from HBCUs. We might represent Howard, we might represent the David A. Clark School of Law, all HBCUs, but we want that talent here. We have an open door, and we as well are networking with our communities to make sure that we are sending the message. We want people to come and be part of our community.
And I love to hear that you ended it right there. That's a want. That's a desire, right? Because I think a lot of times when students hear a big name like a Tapestry and with the brands that are associated, they might be fearful, right? That they may not be talented enough, or you all may not really be looking for HBCU students, right? And so that's amazing to hear. But one thing that you did mention was talent, right? And talent is one of the strategic pillars under the Tapestry company.
Yes.
How do you go about, for you specifically, or Tapestry in general, identifying talent and then creating a foundation for their success?
Yeah, and so I think for us, we look for talent in a wide range of ways where we're sourcing talent on certain social platforms or platforms specific for hiring. We're reaching out to universities. We're collaborating with specific organizations. We're working with like-minded people like yourself that are propelling things forward. When we're thinking about actual talent and how we want to continue to build it, when we bring our talent in, we want to make sure that they have the proper resources, that our people managers are developing them in the right way, and that's through opportunities, that's through mentorship, that's through outside collaborations that they might be able to partake in, and that's where it's when we latch onto that talent, we want to see them grow, we want to continue building them, and that's from the very, very beginning, from orientation all the way up through their last position with Tapestry as they choose.
Yeah, and that's amazing to hear, right? Because that's what you want to hear. That's what you want to know, is that when, it's kind of like when a parent leaves their kid to go to school,
Yes.
there's always like, hey, when I leave my baby, I need them to make sure that they're gonna be okay,
Yes.
right? And so then it's the same thing when they leave college and come to a company, an organization, want to know that they're gonna be successful, treated right, and make sure that they have those opportunities. Now, in staying in that space, right, of environment, right? You know, Jolanda, for you, right? Being a woman of color, being an HBCU alum, you know, what is that work environment like for you?
Yeah, so I think first to touch on being an HBCU alum, coming from Howard Business School, everything was very financial sector focused. So focusing on working in a bank or one of the big companies. And so I remember every Tuesday and Thursday we used to have to wear a full suit, like black suit, like buttoned up shirt, the small like kitten heels and everything. And I remember thinking like, okay, this is gonna be my life, like just suits and that's it. And then I actually interned at Tapestry, and so I remember the summer I interned, I walked in my full suit, doing what I was supposed to be doing, and everybody was just wearing whatever they wanted. And I was like, wow, I can really come to work and just be myself and wear like a leather jacket or whatever I want and still be accepted and valued and appreciated, and obviously still get my work done. So I think that was something that really stood out to me when I first joined the company, that it doesn't matter what you look like or what you wear. And then just being a woman of color, I think automatically it is a little bit more difficult. And I think as women of color, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to excel or succeed or just do a little better than the average person just because we are in the minority. But within Tapestry, I don't think I've ever felt like an outcast or felt like I was different than anybody. I think everybody is pretty open-minded and cultured and thoughtful. So I think as women of color, I can't really say there's been any cons to working here.
But that's amazing. Yeah. That's what we want to hear, right? Is that this culture that's been built here has been welcoming, has been warm, and that's what we want to know. Now, Eric, we're gonna come to you. I ain't forget you over there. We're gonna the culture, right? That's also a strategic pillar at Tapestry is culture, right? Why is the culture part important, and what kind of culture has been built here at Tapestry?
I mean, culture is very important, I think, across all industries and at every organization. There are many definitions of culture, but when I think of culture, I'm thinking about sort of attitudes and beliefs and behavior that an organization establishes and the tone that they set. And it really builds and establishes the corporate identity. Here at Tapestry, we often hear that we stretch what's possible. So when you think about that statement, I mean, you have to be open and inclusive and open to new ideas, open to innovation, open to engaging new technology. I mean, we just launched successfully NFTs over the holiday season. And that's us, stretching what's possible. We take sustainability very seriously. It's a very hot topic and serious topic. And we also take diversity and inclusion seriously. So I think here at Tapestry, our culture, it starts at the top, starting with our CEO, that, you, as Jolanda touched on, you're welcome as you come. We see you, we accept your differences, and we value what makes you different. And we collaborate across teams, across even brands. And I think it's just great that, Tapestry is open to a lot of just diversity.
Yeah, I mean, but that's amazing to hear, right, from a diversity perspective, that's what you want, the openness and all that willingness within a culture space. You want to feel safe when you come to work. You want to feel like your opinions matter. You want to feel that everyone's value. And I think what I also love and what I've been hearing across the board here is that, the working of all brands and being able to collaborate as one big company, but then also have the brands individually. Prior to 2020, right, life was the hustle and bustle, especially being in New York, it's so much going on, right? 2020 happens, COVID-19 hits us crazy, right? And now all of a sudden, we slow down, right? And I think at that point, there's this conversation about work-life balance. Prior to then, I don't really think it was a heavily conversation, something that we talked about too often, because I think we were just so natural at always hustling and always working. But when COVID-19 happened, it slowed us down. And then now we're talking mental health. We're talking these different things, and work-life balance has been a key because that's the part that keeps us together. Eric, how do you keep your own work-life balance, and then B, how does Tapestry encourage their employees to have a work-life balance?
So for me personally, I like to keep myself busy outside of work. So I'm involved in like local political organizations and also the local bar association, just to have different outlets to get my mind off of work and engage different people, because you can get so focused and on the job, and there's so much work to do. And I think Asa and Jolanda would agree that the work really doesn't stop here. So you do have to, set boundaries like with your business partners, and just turn it off every now and then. And I use those outlets to sort of create that separation. In terms of at Tapestry, we're no longer coming in every day a week. No, that's rare. I mean, maybe certain teams that have to be here, maybe designers, they may come in every day. It's clear that the senior leadership is aware that the employees here want work-life balance, and that looks different for everyone. And I think our approach is great because it's really tailored to the individual teams. So it's not like we're all expected to come in and have the same schedule. It varies across teams, and I think it's going to be a constant sort of work in progress. And how we get to optimal work-life balance, I really don't know what that looks like, but I know that there's a survey that the company at large is conducting with employees that are, gauging how we feel about work-life balance and what it looks like to us. And just knowing that, we've been back in the office now for almost 2 months. I think we started in early March, that they're already tapping in and checking in to see where we're at just 6 or 7 weeks after being in the office. It says a lot about, the folks at the top running the organization, and that, again, open to new ideas and stretching what's possible. So, right now I think we're in a good place, and we'll continue to make adjustments. It's clear that.
And the one thing I want to call out that you just said was the people at the top, right? The decision makers are the ones that have said, hey, hold on, I know we back, but let me check in with you. And I think as an employee here, that means something, right? And even as a prospective, employee for someone for internships or career, those are things you got to pay attention to, right? Because that lets you know that, okay, they're not ready to just throw us back in there and don't really care, right? That was 2019, right? Now we're at 2022, and the focus now is, all right, let's keep this balance, because you've had success. So that shows that we don't have to necessarily be in the office, and people can still have some type of balance, and we can still have success, right? Now, one of the other things too that I love at Tapestry, but specifically at Coach, is this community, right? This thought about community, right? That's also another pillar in general, but it's not just a pillar on paper. It's something that you all are actually putting your boots to the ground and actually make it happen. As you mentioned it earlier, but Coach's relationship with the Thurgood Marshall College Fund and the Dream It Real program is amazing from a community perspective. Now, Jolanda, for you, why is community important? And also, how are the employees embodying the sense of community?
So I feel like none of us got to where we are today without other people helping us, with whether that be our family communities or our school communities or the Tapestry community. So I think community is really important because it provides a sense of belonging and a good support system. And it also allows you to build with a team and not feel so alone. I think with doing community service through programs like the Dream It Real Foundation, we get a chance to help others, but I think we also learn a lot about ourselves and about being able to be empathetic in certain situations. And so I think it's a two-way street when we help out in the community. And I also think from a Tapestry standpoint, just being able to have that sense of belonging and being able to relate to a team. And also with doing community service, we also build a strong foundation as a team, because that requires communication and being able to just work well with each other in those settings.
In a touch point, and to your point, you learn more about yourself, you learn more about your colleagues, right? I think, it's like that group building opportunities, those spaces where you get outside of just the workspace and you're able to really engage differently and know where people's backgrounds are from and their upbringing and just different things like that. So that I love it. And what you all are doing with the Dream of Real program, to me, is truly remarkable. So I want to commend you all for that. Now, Eric, we talked a lot today about work-life balance, environment at the workspace. We've talked everything from, being a woman of color and having success. I think one of the things, too, that I would love for you to elaborate on is success, right, and succession. A lot of times, it's one thing to get a job, right? It's one thing to start in a career at entry level or whatever that position is. It's another thing to be able to grow within a company. What does that look like at Tapestry?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really great question, and it's something that we're working on as leadership holistically, with our leadership and our employees in general. You see the three of us here today. Obviously we've highlighted that it takes hard work to get where we are, and success isn't something that's just given or it's just going to be on a silver platter. And oftentimes when we look at it within our community, we feel as though, hey, we've got to work even harder. So what does success look like? You take the three of us where we graduated from our institutions of higher learning, being Howard University. And as part of that, we go out into the work world. We've had people that have helped mentor us. We've had people that have provided us with sound as a sounding board to talk about some of the obstacles that we've seen or had to overcome. We ourselves have looked at it where we've put the hard work in. And from my lens as an HR person, as just a normal person in the work world as well as a leader, success is through the hard work that you put in. It's through having those relationships with people where you work internally, and also those external relationships. It's proper collaborations, like Jolanda had said. It's that having that sense of community and stretching what's possible, like Eric said, which is one of the foundations of Tapestry and what we want to do. When you put all of those things together, that's what success. But success doesn't look the same for every single person. Success is subjective. Success is what you are looking for and what level you're trying to achieve. But through our community and Tapestry, either it be your people manager, your ex-com leader, your vice president, your SVP, your colleague, the Black Alliance ERG group, or any of the other employee resource groups that we have within Tapestry, they're built there to help people succeed, to be a sounding board, and to be a place to collaborate and a safe place for people to learn and continue to grow.
If I wasn't trying to be an entrepreneur, I would have to put this in my resume, because I love the culture. I love the environment. I think that, that's what we really want to hear. Parents want to hear, students want to hear.
Yes.
Even institutions, when they're thinking about where their students should go after college, right? These are things that you all have hit on today that would make me feel comfortable to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to say, look at Tapestry, look at Coach, look at Kate Spade, look at Stuart Watts. Look at these brands, and they have a culture and environment there that is setting you up for success. Right? Now, here's my last question for everybody, right? And we'll just go down. Advice, right? Short advice for our prospective students that are getting ready for the real world, looking to further, their career opportunities, or even people that might be thinking about switching careers. What's some advice that you have for them getting ready for this real world, the real space?
I would definitely say follow what you're passionate about. There's no point in going into an industry that you don't find joy in, or you can't find something that you enjoy about it. And along with that, I'll say don't give up in that sense. If you don't find exactly what you want, fresh out of college, keep looking, keep trying, don't take no for an answer. I think those are the main things. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, my advice to students out there and entering the work world is, you know, it's not easy, but follow your dream and passion, as Yolanda said. Follow the light that's out there.
Yeah.
You know, follow your pathway. Be determined. Find people that are out there that are like-minded and that you can speak with. You know, you can't do it alone. It takes a village to raise a child, and we've said that oftentimes in our community. And it takes reaching out there to actually speak to someone. Open up. Don't do text message. Don't do social media. Have an interactive conversation and really, really hustle. That's what it takes. Nothing's gonna be given.
The hustle is real. Eric?
Definitely, the hustle is real, and I think the HBCU, you know, mindset, we all hustle.
Yes.
Some advice that I would give to college students is to seek out internships or externships opportunities, because they really are just really valuable, and you learn a lot about an organization and its culture, and you can build out your skill sets and just sort of hone and figure out where you really want to be once you graduate. Also seeking out mentorship, like to Asa's point, reaching out for in-person coffee as opposed to maybe a virtual meeting, because nothing really replaces face-to-face communication. And then finally, I would just say, you know, you will fall down. I mean, that's just keeping it real.
Yes.
It's never going to be easy, and I think especially students at HBCUs, we're used to, you know, adversity and issues with the A building, and you know, but we get back up. If you make it through a HBCU, you fallen down and gotten back up, and that's really what it takes. You may not get what you want initially, but just stay the course, keep plugging away, and you will find success.
Yeah.
You all touched on different things, but what I heard in it was passion, and never giving up, right? And to some people that can sound cliche, right? Because that's how it sounds until you get to the other side and you're like, nah, even though it sounds cliche, these are things. And I always try to leave people also with, you know, even a big cliche saying life is a marathon, not a sprint, right?
Yes.
Only those that have truly ran a marathon really kind of understand how it really is relevant to life, right? And so when we talk about it, each mile is different. The first mile, you're feeling good. Now, one of the things that I love about everything that you all said, right? Passion, following dreams, staying true, and never giving up. To those listening, it may be cliche, right? I mean, because it sounds cliche until you've been on the other side, right? I always say a couple of things, you know, life is a marathon, not a sprint. And people are like, oh, come on, I heard it all the time. Yeah, but if you've ran a marathon or if you did any kind of running, you'll really understand that mile 1 is different than mile 3. Mile 3 is different than mile 8. Now, you might get to the halfway mark and is ready to quit, but you can't because you got to finish. And then you might get to 18 and found your groove again. And that's literally how life is. And one of the things that you guys also talked about was success, right? And failing. And I have a quote that I live by all the time. It's success is failure after failure without the loss of enthusiasm. And that's by Winston Churchill. Because regardless, to your point, if you went to an HBCU, anywhere in life you failed. You were late to work, you was on time, you missed a deadline, whatever it is. But at some point you had success. And I always say if you just keep trying, keep fighting, you'll get there, all right? So I want to say thank you all for giving today's conversation. Yolanda, Asa, Eric, giving us the inside. And I also want to thank all of you for tuning in and watching this very special episode of Yard Talk 101. Now, if you want to learn more, a little bit about HBCUs, you can check us out at yardtalk101.com and check out all of our social media at Yard Talk 101 on all platforms. And of course, I have to give a special thanks to Coach for helping to bring this special episode to life, as well as Tapestry for the work it's doing to create a rich professional culture that is diverse and inclusive, because difference sparks brilliance. Now, if you're interested in becoming part of the Tapestry family, please visit www.careers.tapestry.com. I'm Jahliel. Thank you.